Once again, an armed attack in the Middle East, but this time it's different.
October 7th was the Devil's Holiday.
It's very hard to believe what happened, even though I was there and seeing with my own eyes and seeing them laughing and killing and having fun with it.
So who are the Jews? Who are the Palestinians? And whose land is it really? Could the fate of the world, of humanity itself, be somehow tied to this place?
What a powerful movie. You know you want to go see that when you see that trailer. It's a part of the trailer to Dinesh D'Souza's new film, The Dragon's Prophecy. It has a limited release on October 6th and October 8th. Then it'll release to stream on October 9th, and you can get your tickets at thedragonsprophecyfilm.com, thedragonsprophecyfilm.com. Joining us now, the great filmmaker himself, Dinesh D'Souza. Dinesh, great to have you on, my friend.
John, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me. I was telling you a moment ago that I started the film really by becoming interested in biblical archaeology and the way in which these archaeological findings corroborate the Hebrew and the Christian scriptures. Then along comes October 7th. But little did I know how timely these issues would be, with Trump's peace plan, with now a critique of Israel coming not just from the left, but from the right. So the film is in the middle of all that. And yet ultimately it is a search for a higher ground that goes beyond the political and incorporates the spiritual, the biblical, even the prophetic.
Yeah, it is. You're right. The timing could not be more important, I think, because we need to have this conversation, and we need to have it with some facts that often get taken out of the equation when one side or the other side hijacks it. And we've got people on the right and we've got people on the left that are hijacking debate and moving from the facts. But let's start with the inspiration for this book. It's based on the movie, based on the book by Jonathan Cahn of the same name. Why'd you pick that? And then October 7th. Tell us how those two things come together in this great movie.
So the film begins with footage that very few people have seen of October 7th. And it's a very interesting angle because you're not seeing it from the point of view of Israel or the victims. You are riding almost alongside Hamas as it goes across the fence into the kibbutzes of Israel, to the Nova Festival. Hamas took the footage. So you're seeing it. It's almost like you have a GoPro on your head and you've got a motorcycle and you're riding in with Hamas. It's amazing. It's a little disturbing. We have a warning about it, but I've removed some of the most gruesome footage. I just have enough that you can get a real flavor for how bad it was. And then we explore the significance. And I think one of Jonathan Cahn's sort of ingenious ideas is he says that the battle between Israel and Hamas is an odd and eerie recreation of ancient battles between the Israelites described in the Bible and their famous opponents, the Philistines. Now, Philistine, Palestine, it's actually the same word. It's the same term carried through history. But what Cahn stresses is it's not just the same word or the same name, it's the same tactics. So one of the heroes, John, of the Bible is this guy Samson, who represents the strength of Israel. Samson is captured by the Philistines. They blind him in much the same manner that Israel was blinded on October 7th. They drag him, the Bible says, to Gaza. The Philistines controlled an area that is now the Gaza Strip, but then it was called Philistia. And Gaza was the main city in Philistia. So, and then the Bible says the people of Gaza demanded that Samson be stripped and brought out for their entertainment. And sure enough, right after October 7th, hostages were stripped, brought out for public entertainment. People are shouting Allahu Akbar. So Cahn makes the observation, very arresting, that Samson was the first hostage of Gaza. So this is the type of thing you're going to get in this film. I think it's very captivating, unexpected, and introduces this biblical dimension. And then, of course, the biblical archaeology comes in to authenticate and corroborate the Bible and show that this is not mythological. This isn't a bunch of people hundreds of years later making up stuff. These figures in the Bible were real figures, and we can now verify it with inscriptions and seals and stones. It's almost like God is speaking back in a secular age through archaeology to say, guess what? I gave you a story, and the historicity of that can now be proven.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you weave history and the current politics together in such a powerful way. I want to go to two things. One is always uncomfortable to talk about. I have long seen the drift in the Democratic parties to the hatred of Israel, to the hatred, quite frankly, of Judeo-Christian values. I've been a little bit shocked by some of the conversations that occur in conservative politics, which don't feel like the conservative politics of 10 or 20 years ago, the Tuckers and the Candaces and others. Tell us a little bit about how that plays into this movie, and also just into your own thinking, what you make of this conversation that's been going on.
It's very awkward for me. I've known these guys for a long time.
Yeah.
I spoke at Candace's Blexit events. I did a lecture tour in Australia last year with Tucker. Of course, none of these topics came up. I think it's very bad. And I think it's bad in part because it appeals to young people who are frustrated and angry and believe the American dream is slipping away from them. And so we have this eternal scapegoat, which is it's the Jews.
Blame the Jews, right?
Nothing could be crazier. Now, some of it is disguised and wrapped up in I'm just asking questions. And some of it is, we're conducting a personal investigation. But this is all bogus because these investigations, they're not like your investigations, John. They're not based upon facts, staying on the ground, making sensible hypotheses, looking to verify information. It's like you put out one outrageous libel, and then when it is shot down, you just come up with another one to replace it. And you're selling this snake oil to young people who don't know better and are vulnerable, don't have any sense of history. You tell them things like, well, maybe you should have allied with Hitler against Stalin in World War II. And they go, well, that's Tucker raising a tough question.
Yeah.
So I am very unhappy with it. I think it's not only bad for the country, but it fractures the MAGA coalition. In some ways, it jeopardizes the Trump agenda. We certainly don't want to be throwing Mark Levin out of the Republican Party to make room for Nick Fuentes.
That's a line a lot of people are going to remember from this interview. That's a good one. Dinesh, I want to ask a little bit about, you said that some of this is born from the ignorance. People don't understand what's going on in the region. Your film, the interviews, you got Bibi Netanyahu, you got Mike Huckabee, you got amazing interviews. But I think when people saw October 7th happen, the atrocities, the magnitude of horror, people thought, oh man, there's just no chance we're going to get peace anytime soon. And here we are this week. We got a U.S. announcement of a Qatar security agreement. You got Netanyahu and the Qataris talking. It seems to me like a grand peace deal could be something that rises from the ashes of this extraordinary horror. Are you optimistic about what may lie ahead in the region?
I've got to say that, Trump has this ability to say things that seem at first glance to be so outlandish that even those of us on his side
like, no, that can't
gasp.
happen. Yeah.
Gaza is going to be a Riviera.
Right.
But then you have to put on the Trumpian hat and recognize this is a construction guy. He's looking at all this rubble. Yeah. And he's imaginatively saying, I see homes and apartments and clean streets and safe neighborhoods and people going to work and high-tech companies, and I see peace and prosperity. And so I think his idea is let's at least offer it to these people. Yeah. Maybe they're too twisted. Maybe they are too indoctrinated. Maybe they genuinely want to continue with this cult of death and then no one can stop them, but at least give them a way out. And I think that's what this peace plan represents. It's a genuine way out. Whether Hamas will take it now remains another question. One of the little tidbits of our film, Jonathan Kahn, he says that in Hebrew, the word Hamas means violence. And in fact, the Bible in the Hebrew says things like, Lord, save me from the men of Hamas, or Hamas dwells in the dark places of the earth. Yeah. So here you've got an organization that is living up to its Hebrew, at least the Hebrew version of its name. So I'm not too optimistic that they're going to become the good guys, but I do agree that finding a solution that might work is just a great breakthrough by Trump.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll see how history unfolds, but we'll be watching it closely. All right, we've got about 45 seconds left. What's your favorite interview of all the interviews you did for this?
Well, I enjoyed the conversation with Netanyahu just because I sprung questions on him that surprised him. I'm like, what's your take on Jesus?
That's hard to do.
So here I'm asking a Jew who's head of the Jewish state to comment on the most famous Jew in history. And he was, of course, very much up for the challenge. And he starts talking about Jesus' Hebrew roots. His name is really Yeshua. His dad is Yosef. His mom is Miriam. Jewish names, Jewish food. So it brings out, I think, a human side of Netanyahu that's very good. John, if I can say so, the website for this film, and
yes,
you mentioned it at
please.
the outset, thedragonsprophecyfilm.com.
Yeah.
You can get theater tickets, you can sign up for streaming and DVD. I'm very excited about this movie, and especially now in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's death, I think there's a spirit of revival in the land. This film could be, I want it to be a part of that.
I think it's going to be epic. I really do. In fact, I've already signed up. I'm signing up for my stream, so I can't wait to watch it. That's exciting to me personally. Dinesh D'Souza, you always know how to make an impact. You always know how to get the country talking. Great honor to have you on the show, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so good. Folks, go to the site. Go get those tickets. Go support this amazing movie. It is incredible. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, what could really happen in this government shutdown? One of my old-time friends. He's been around a long time. He's been fighting for a leaner government for as long as I can remember. The president of Americans for Tax Reform, Grover Norquist, next, right after these messages. Hey, folks, if you snore and your partner hasn't moved to another room yet, congratulations. You've either found true love or your partner has no other place to go. Let's talk about what your partner really wants in bed. Silence. Stop keeping them awake from your snoring and giving them 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. Zypa is the only FDA-approved and patented anti-snoring solution invented by a leading sleep doctor that stops snoring at the source. Zypa has a 91% success rate backed by a 91-night sleep guarantee. That's pretty great. For a limited time, go to zypa.com and use the code JTN or text JTN to 511-511 and get the absolute best solution, guaranteed, to stop your snoring with a Happy Z Pack and save over 24% off. Plus, Zypa will donate $10 to breast cancer research. Visit Zypa, ZYPPAH.com. Use the code JTN or text JTN to 511-511 and save over 24% off with the Happy Z Pack and start improving your sleep health today. That's a good thing. Remember, Zypa is Happy Z spelled backwards. Text fees may apply.